I was recently going through my posts, my comments on my YouTube channel, and I saw a question regarding CBAC, and I posted it right here. I left the name off to give him a little anonymity, but this is his question regarding CBAC. He says, please clear my doubts regarding these statements. If we needed to use CBAC and allow all general TCP and UDP outbound traffic initiated from the inside network to access the internet, and allow all ICMP traffic to access from the inside to the internet, and block all other traffic, along with allowing ICMP and HTTP from the outside to one specific host and denying everything else, how would we pull that off? Well, let's just imagine together that this is our inside network, this 10 network, and this is the outside network, and R2 is going to be our context-based access control firewall. Well, the first thing we'd want to do is inspect TCP, UDP, and ICMP as it's going from the inside network out to the outside world. And we could inspect it outbound on this interface or inbound here. It really doesn't matter. So we're going to set up an inspection rule looking for TCP, UDP, and ICMP. Because of step 3, we're also going to use an access list that's going to deny everything but TCP, UDP, and ICMP from going from the inside to the outside. And we could block that traffic inbound here or outbound here. That part doesn't matter either, how we choose to slice it up. The task 4 is going to allow inbound traffic if it's ICMP and HTTP to an inside host. Now my IP addressing is a little bit different, so in this example we're going to use 10.0.0.1 as an example of the host we want to allow people to get to from the outside. Now in the real world there would also be NAT involved, and we wouldn't have a private IP address reachable from the global internet, but we could use the netted address instead. So to get this part done, step number 4, we need an access list, either inbound here on the outside interface of R2 or inbound here. So we have to stop the traffic if it's not ICMP or HTTP somewhere along the path outbound here or inbound here. And then 5 is all other traffic initiated from the outside network must be denied. So what I see is I see one inspection rule for ICMP, TCP, and UDP, and I see 2 access lists being implemented. So I'm going to demonstrate that right here in less than 5 minutes. So let's start off with the inspection rule. The inspection rule is going to look something like this. We're going to go into configuration mode, and I'm going to create an IP inspect rule called my CBAC for my context-based access control. And it's going to inspect for TCP, UDP, and ICMP. And that's so we can apply it outbound here, and when customers try to go out to the internet, CBAC will inspect it and allow the return traffic in spite of any access list that would be otherwise denying it. And to apply it, we would simply do something like this. We go to interface configuration mode and simply say IP inspect, the name of our inspection rule, and we're going to apply it. So here we're applying this outbound on FA0/1. Now what's stopping our customers from sending anything else? Now in the task it says all other traffic from the inside to the outside from the inside must be denied. We need to have an access list if we want to enforce any type of stopping traffic. So we'll create an access list called access list 100. And access list 100 is going to permit OSPF. Why? Because if we apply this inbound right here, I currently have OSPF running and I don't want that to break. So I'm going to allow OSPF and then all the protocols TCP, UDP, and ICMP that we want these customers to be able to go ahead and send. So if we kill our routing protocols on the inside, that's going to stop a lot of things from being happy. And then our last step, of course, is to apply this access list, and we'll apply it inbound on FA00. And that's just to meet the requirements of step number 3 of denying all other traffic besides these 3 protocols that were mentioned. So we'll go to interface configuration mode and do that. Now, what about the outside world trying to get in? Well, the outside world trying to get in should be allowed to send ICMP traffic and HTTP to an individual host. And the individual host we're going to use is 10.0.0.1 because I have it available. So we go into configuration mode, we're already there, and create an access list 101, which is permitting ICMP to that host, permitting TCP to that host if the destination port equals port 80, and I'm also going to permit OSPF. Let me scooch this over just a little bit. I am going to permit OSPF because I am running OSPF out here as well. And then I'm going to do a deny IP any as my last line. Now I know what you're saying. Keith, we don't need a deny at the end because there's an implicit deny. You are right. There is. However, it won't do an implicit log because I want log messages to pop up on my console, at least while we're testing, just to make sure if I did botch something up that it can scream and tell me. Now that access list we need to apply. So we'll apply it to the outside interface, which is FA0/1, which is right here, and we'll apply it inbound. So that's IP access group 101 in, and I believe we are done. Let's go to test this. Now let's do a debug here as well. We'll do a debug of IP inspect, and let's first session. I think there's a session. There's something. Okay, detailed. That'll work. Debug IP inspect detailed is on and running, and on R1 we should be able to send out traffic if it is TCP, UDP based, or ICMP. So let's try one. Let's try a ping out to 3333 because our routing is in place. So that's R1 pinging out to R3. And if we did a telnet, let's try that as well. That would be TCP based. Our telnet session seems to be working fine as well. So if we go back to R2 and look at it, here we have some information from the debug that we're running. And if we do a show IP inspect sessions, it's going to show us our session that we currently have established. So from the inside address of 10.0.0.1, our source port, it says, is 21,691, going to 3333 to the well-known destination port of 23.4 telnet. And we can also verify that that's the real port, but indeed it is. So the CBAC is working. Let's go out to R3 and let's see what R3 can do. R3 should be able to ping the IP address of 10.0.0.1 because the access list inbound on FA01 was permitting it. So we'll test that. And that seems to work. But what should not work is telnet. If we try telnet to that same address, that should be denied because the only two things we're permitting from the outside coming in are HTTP and ICMP to that IP address, and telnet is TCP port 23, so that should fail. So we got an immediate rejection from R2. If we go back, look at R2, there's our log message as well saying I killed that packet that was trying to get in. So if you want to replay this, go ahead and back it up and replay it, and that's step by step how I would implement the CBAC and filtering requirements based on this request. So I appreciate the request. Have a great day, and we'll see everybody in the next video.